Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Recently we've spoken about the possible demon armies of Nurgle, Khorne and Tzeentch, but now we look towards the Changer of Ways, Tzeentch. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Tzeentch is one of the four main Chaos gods, also known as the Changer of Ways. He is the god of magic, change, evolution, destiny, lies and trickery, all of which form the foundation of the god's being. He is not a physical fighter whatsoever. Instead, Tzeentch prefers to fight from afar, throwing countless spells at his enemies from a safe distance. That is not to say that Tzeentch is not all-powerful or all-dangerous. His demons, an extension of Tzeentch himself, also wield very powerful magical abilities, so let's check out all the possible demon units for the Demons of Tzeentch. We'll be starting off with 3 units at once, funny enough, as they all are linked in some way: the Pink Horror, the Blue Horror and the Brimstone Horror. Horrors are a rather interesting type of unit and the most numerous of Tzeentch's forces. You see, the Horrors themselves start off as Pink Horrors. These are the most basic of frontline units. Stat-wise themselves, it's nothing too impressive. What makes them impressive is the fact that they are also spellcasters. Pink Horrors themselves were able to use spells from the lore of Tzeentch as expected, and it could be expected that they themselves would be the easiest to recruit. However, as I had said, we're talking about 3 individual units. This is because when you would kill a Pink Horror, it would turn into 2 Blue Horrors, and when you would kill said Blue Horrors, they would then split into Brimstone Horrors. It's a rather interesting thing, where one unit essentially becomes around 6. Now, I have asked modders if this is indeed possible, and they say theoretically yes, though of course Creative Assembly have been working on this new game. This could be easy enough to implement if they have been doing so. However, I don't think that we should only be able to recruit them as a Pink Horror. It would fluff out the roster a lot more if we were able to recruit Pink Horrors, Blue Horrors and Brimstone Horrors individually. However, I still think that the mechanic should come in play. So if you recruit a unit of Pink Horrors, it could divide into 2 units of Blue Horrors when they get defeated in combat. This will basically mean that you'll have a rather large army. Your 20 stat could mean that it's actually a lot more. It really depends as to how many horrors you bring into your armies. Just jumping right here through an edit, I've spoken to another modder and he says it's very much in the same way that the Helped Abomination spawns clan rats upon death. So the mechanic itself is indeed possible and could lead to just a cluster of different types of units on the battlefield. I know this might sound a bit complicated, but believe me, it's not. It's actually rather simple. Next we have Flamers of Zinch. These are the basic range units for this army. Yes, there is some range units within the Forces of Chaos. The only difference is that their range attacks are more in the form of flamethrowers. Think about this in a very similar way to the Skaven Warpfire Thrower, and you've pretty much got yourself sorted there. Screamers of Tzeentch are the Tzeentchian flying units. These are a melee unit which are pretty decent in close combat on the tabletop, and due to the fact that they're also a flying unit, suggests that they would also be fairly quick. They should be fairly tough and be able to pack a punch. However, since the majority of your army is magic based, you're pretty much leaving them alone. Next we have the Burning Chariot of Zinch. This can come in 2 possible variants, that of Pink Fire and that of Blue Fire. Both are chariots, but ranged chariots at that. However, it can be expected, as it is a chariot after all, that it should be somewhat decent in melee combat, especially since they are being pulled by Screamers of Zinch. The actual ranged weapon on this chariot is another flamer unit. These are known as Exalted Flamers, and it could also be expected that we would be able to recruit them as a ground unit too. Essentially, it would work the same way as all other flamers, just a little bit stronger of course, as it would have better stats. There was really not that much implemented for Tzeentch in the 8th edition army book. It's a shame really, but then again, due to the fact that you could turn horrors into other horrors, it kinda balanced its way out. That being said, there were some units that were added into the 6th edition supplement known as Storm of Chaos. One such unit are the Changebringers. They are flamers mounted upon discs of Tzeentch. They are basically flying cavalry, which, yeah, might be quite interesting considering that they are a flamethrower unit. If you thought the warp fire throwers were terrifying enough, could you also imagine if they could fly? The Chariot of Zinch was also implemented here, where 2 Flamers of Tzeentch would be drawn by 2 Screamers. However, this is very similar to that of the Burning Chariot, so what in theory could be done instead is the implementation of a chariot pulled by 2 Screamers, but used by, say for example, 2 Blue Horrors. The Blue Horrors themselves would count more as a basic melee variant for all the horrors, so giving them a melee variant chariot might also be useful, especially as you'll want something to move fairly quickly around to be able to just deal with the enemies as your Screamers attack. Obviously, we have to take into account that by lore standards and tabletop standards, anything pulled by a Screamer would be flying, but I don't think that a Chariot of Zinch would fly. In a perfect world, Total War Warhammer 3 will introduce hover mechanics, which is desperately needed not just for the forces of Tzeentch, but also for certain lords and heroes. Now yes, the roster is very small, and I am fully much aware of that. It's very likely that either Games Workshop and CA will create new demons, or use mortal servants. Most of the mortal servants themselves, which were god-specific, were introduced in Age of Sigmar, and we will have a discussion about that soon, but we'll also kickstart a series regarding mortal servants for each of the respective Chaos gods, as it does fill out the roster a lot more. But until then, what do you think about the possible demons for Tzeentch? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.